Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of White Coat Chronicles with me, Tori. So, guys, we have started medical school. I honestly cannot believe I am in Athens, Ohio right now. And I have been here for almost 3 weeks, and it has been crazy. From a week of orientation, moving in, getting my car towed and having to pay $600 to getting it back, to meeting everyone, having my first exam this past Friday. There's been so much, and I want to update you guys all about it, but we're going to save all of the debrief about starting medical school for my next episode. Before I get in and fully embrace the I'm in med school era, I just want to get an episode up about what I learned in my gap year. But naturally, before we get into that, let's do high-low piccolo. Before I give my high-low piccolo, I just need to share that I have brought high-low piccolo to med school. I have, the way our classes are kind of set up in just the curriculum, we have a small group of 8 people, and we do most of our work in this small group. We learn together. I mean, everyone's in class together, but most of your partners for the donor lab, for OMM, and just who you sit with in class are with your small group. And every Friday, we have small group discussion. It's 2 hours where we just kind of pick what we want to do and either study, go over things or some assignments. But at the beginning of small group, we go around doing high-low piccolo, inspired by this podcast. So just had to include that. Okay. High of this, I'm going to say these past 3 weeks is just being here. I think I need to remind myself of this. I am in med school. I wanted to be here. I worked so freaking hard to be here. And I want to take this opportunity as a reflection for myself to say my high is that I am freaking here. My low, I think, is, I honestly can think of a lot of lows from my past couple of weeks, a lot just surrounding my anxiety being kind of bad, just worse than it was at home. It's been an adjustment. At home, I was in my stay-at-home mom era the past couple months and just not having a schedule, really going with the flow. And now I am back on the grind, finding it hard to relax and not feel guilty relaxing. Also, just kind of feeling my people pleaser side coming out a lot because I'm meeting a lot of new people, and naturally I want everyone to like me, but I am trying to work on that. So yeah, those are my lows. And piccolo is, I think it was the way all the weeks are the same to me. I think it was last week, maybe last week, I sawed through the lamina of a vertebrae. If anyone knows what that is, my med school people will know what that is, and other people I'm sure will as well. But in my donor lab, we did a laminectomy, and I didn't do a lot. I kind of let other people take more of the lead, but I did saw through one singular lamina. So yeah. Okay, I just bugged that I pronounced laminectomy wrong, and I think I did. Laminectomy. I don't know, guys. We're trying. And now one quick fun little medical fact that I learned recently is that, well, it's honestly something I'm confused by because I don't get it, but I just want to put it out there. Apparently, actually not apparently, my textbook does say this, but dopamine inhibits prolactin. And these are 2 hormones. And I feel lots of people know what dopamine is. It's the happy hormone. But it inhibits prolactin, which is the hormone that stimulates breast development and milk production in females. So when you're breastfeeding, your prolactin levels are high. But does that mean you have to be sad when you're breastfeeding? I don't know. I just thought I should share. Okay, let's get in to the body of this episode. I really wanted to talk about things I learned in my gap year, and not like facts I learned, just things I learned about myself, things I learned about life, because I really think it was so beneficial to take a gap year. A lot of people in my class didn't. Oops, almost dropped a book. A lot of people in my class didn't take a gap year, but it's pretty mixed, I would say, for the most part. And I'm not hating on people that didn't take a gap year, but it was super beneficial to me, to my growth as a person, and just realizing there's a life outside of studying all the time. So let's get into it. Okay, the first thing that I have written down is that resting doesn't mean you're not productive. Honestly, I really needed to hear that right now because I'm struggling with it. Just going back to my type A ways. But I just really realized during my gap year that not doing anything for a day, or just like rotting in your bed, like sometimes you need that. And I consider myself a very social person, but my social battery does die often because I'm constantly in social situations. And I put myself in them because I love it. I'm an extrovert and I get my energy off of other people, and I know that. But I just really have come to the realization that I also need my alone time, need my bed rotting time, and just like sleeping. Like I took a fire nap today and I'm so glad I did. But something I need to remind myself about being in med school again, because you could literally study for 24 hours straight and still not be prepared. Like you really have to realize when your brain and body are telling you to rest, and that it is productive to rest. We're actually learning a lot about sleep these past 2 weeks. We have been, and it's kind of like ironic, honestly, that they're teaching us sleep is so good, but like, girl, we gotta grind. And there's some nights where you're gonna have to stay up late and get up early the next day. But besides the fact, rest does not mean you're lazy. And I stand by that. The second thing is that learning is supposed to be hard. This is kind of random. I don't know. Let me get into it. Basically, I read this book called Make It Stick, The Science of Successful Learning. I had to read the book for med school, but I'm glad I did. Really good book, just teaching you how to learn, and just that, like, the theme of learning is change. Almost every definition that you'll find online has the word change. And how I interpret that is that our brain is like physically changing when we learn. Like the connections between the neurons and the synapses and yada yada. I really don't know too much about the nervous system yet, so I'm not even going to pretend. But there's changes, like physical changes that are made whenever things start to click in your mind. And just like reflecting back on that, I think I studied for the MCAT so wrong because I just avoided the things I was bad at because I hated to be like, ugh, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, oh, this is so hard. But learning is supposed to be hard. And I've really kind of taken that with me this past couple weeks, like rewriting things that I don't know and being scared, like, oh no, I don't know this, but that's the only way I'm going to learn. It's supposed to be hard. Like lots of people in med school tell you to like teach your room, your stuffed animals, stuff that you're learning. And I hate that because I'm like, I always talk in my head. I'm like, okay, I know this is that. But when I teach it out loud, or when I've tried to do that, I'm like, holy shit, Tori, you have no idea what you're talking about. And I learn so much better that way, because then you're like, okay, I obviously don't know what I'm actually reading, because passive learning is just, reading things, being like, yep, know that, watching videos, but are you really like absorbing it? No, you're probably not, Tori. So I'm just trying to take that with me for med school. It's hard. I love it. I love learning. I have signed up to be a lifelong learner, as everyone should, or just be interested in learning. I like learning new things each day, but it's supposed to be hard. And oftentimes we want to feel good. Our brain wants us to feel good. So we go over things that we know more often. And we kind of like to give ourselves like a pat on the back, like, yeah, we know this, but we should also do the things that we don't want to do when it comes to learning. Like for me, it's learning about gait in OMM. I don't like it and I've avoided it. And I definitely got a lot of answers about gait wrong on my recent exam. And I know why, because I didn't want to study because I didn't like it and I don't understand. I don't know. I'm kind of going all over the place with this, but learning is supposed to be hard, period. Next thing, the third thing that I've learned during my gap year is that I love my family, like literally to death. I think I've always been like a big family person, but I lived at home for my gap year and it was a transition for sure. I remember in my like earlier episodes, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm living at home. I hate this and that, but I really grew to love it. And I just love my family so much. Like I'm the most real version of myself when I'm with them. Obviously, it's my family. And I just feel like the older you get, the more you see your parents in like a different light. And I'm just like, I don't know, I get so sad thinking about them getting older and my little sister Katie's like going to college and I'm just like obsessed with them. And yeah, miss them. But I think I'm going home in October, guys, for my birthday. So I'll see my family then. Hopefully, we'll see. That trip is loading. The next thing, exercise is good. Like, thank you, Tori. No shit. I'm sure we all knew this. But for me, I really just want to, what I realized this gap year is that it really does make me feel so good. Like, I feel like everyone's like, exercising so good for your mental health, yada, yada. And I got that. But I feel like I never truly could be like, yeah, like it makes me feel so good in my brain. I like how it makes my body feel. But especially now being in school and just taking the break to work out for an hour, the way that like my energy levels go up after and I'm able to like grind for hours longer after compared to not taking that break and exercising. I'm just happy that I've come a long way to have a good relationship with exercise. I feel like it wasn't always like that. It was kind of like I had to do it or else I would feel guilty. But it's now like I'm exercising less almost, if that makes sense. Like I'm doing like 3 to 4 days a week, but I feel better than kind of forcing myself to go to the gym every single day just to check that box off, you know? Next thing, get to know people at the places you go to often. So what I mean by this, if you're an avid Starbucks goer, as myself, get to know your barista. If you like to go to a restaurant often, get to know the waitstaff. What else? What else can I think of? The ice cream shop that you go to. I don't know why that comes to my head first. Get to know who's scooping your ice cream if you go there all the time. What I'm really trying to get at is, I don't know, during my gap year, there were places that I would go to often. And I just found that when I like really talked to the barista or like asked them how their day was or got to know the waiters and waitresses, not only does it give you some perks like a free dessert or $1 off or them not charging you for oat milk, you know, the little things. It's just nice because you're going there often. You get to know people. I just feel so much more like connected with my community than just being so focused on yourself. I don't know. I think it's so nice to know people that you go to often. It makes you feel good. Like they know your name, they know your order. I love it. And I want to keep doing that here. Next thing, which no one's going to see this coming, but I love a good burger. So if you're kind of new, just some background. I have not eaten meat for the past 4 years of my life. And then during my gap year, I started eating meat again. Honestly, because a guy that I was dating liked cooking a lot and guys love me. I don't know. And I was just like, okay, let me just try this. And I just kind of started trying things and it's now back in my diet. And I love burgers. They're so good. Next thing, you don't need to listen to everyone's opinions. This really hits hard for my fellow people pleasers. And I feel like people use that term so much. And again, something I just feel like I never truly understood or resonated with. But the more I'm in therapy and the more I'm learning about myself, I am a people pleaser. And for me, I think it comes from like this deep desire to want everyone to like me. And I'm just realizing we don't need everyone to like me. For me, this also applied to my whole like getting into med school journey. I remember specifically there was this one advisor that I reached out to. It was like a friend's mom's friend. And she basically told me like, don't apply. I gave her like, sent her my full application and she's just like, whoa, like you got some work to do. And here we are. I actually have met one of my interviewers from HCOM and he told me I wasn't going to get in, and I got the call that night that I got in. So that's been kind of funny seeing him in my donor lab. Yeah. I don't think he remembers me though, like to be so for real. And another thing for me is just like, I realize I care so much about my friends' opinion. And this is like no shade at my friends. They know I love them. And I love every single one of you that is listening to this, friends. Hi. But I just like care so much what they think about, like what I'm doing, what I'm wearing, who my romantic interests are in. And I'm like, just little things like, what are you guys wearing tonight? I personally am going to wear what I want to wear, you know, like just the little things. I feel like I used to be like, okay, what's everyone wearing? Let me like match the vibe. Now I rarely match the vibe, you know, like I was so overdressed last night going out, but I don't care. You don't need to listen to everyone's opinions. And it doesn't mean that they're not going to like you. Well, and even if it does, so be it. Next thing, smoothies are my morning hack to a good day. Let me just give you guys my little smoothie recipe really quick, if anyone was wondering. So I almost every morning, here has been a little different because if I get up earlier than my roommate, I really don't want to be blasting my NutriBullet. I actually brought it out of the kitchen into like my office room one morning and closed the door. Like I was like, I really don't want this blasting. I feel so bad. But what I do, frozen berries, half a banana, Greek yogurt, some sort of seeds. Right now I have like hemp, chia, and flaxseed mix. Put that in, a handful of spinach, water, peanut butter. I think that covers everything. And at home, I put my like Naked Whey protein powder in it as well. I don't have that here and I just haven't gotten around to getting protein powder, but that is honestly the key because it keeps you full. I've been noticing with my smoothies, they don't keep me as full without the protein powder, but you could take it to go, your walk to school to work, your drive to school to work, and you just feel like so healthy first thing in the morning. It just leaves you feeling so good. I also love like cold things, so it's great. Great time saver, great wellness, girly hack. And now my 10th and last thing that I learned during my gap year is that you can learn something from every single person you meet, whether it be good or bad. I love this one, guys. So I can just think of a lot of examples of why I wanted this in my top 10 things I've learned in my gap year. But what I get drawn to talk about first is where I worked for my gap year and who I worked for. And if you have been listening, it was an experience where I worked. It was borderline corrupt and just a bad introduction to the healthcare system. But I have taken away so much from it. I've learned a lot from a person that I didn't like at all. I really disliked this person that I worked for, but I learned so much and I'm really happy I had that experience. I love talking to old people. You can learn so much from old people. They're so wise. I love old people. Past relationships I've been in that didn't last, obviously, and were bad. I've learned from it, you know? Like, I truly am a firm believer that everything happens for a reason. People come into your life for a reason. And it doesn't always have to be to make your life better, you know? I just want to emphasize the point that you can really learn things from people, whether it be good or bad. And just having that mindset is a game changer, quite honestly. You know, it kind of makes you look at people differently. Maybe people that you don't get along with or that you're struggling to get along with, you could still learn something from them. And it doesn't mean like it has to be this huge thing that you're learning from them. It's just the little things, you know? And I've really been picking up on that during my gap year and bringing it here as well. So with that all being said, brings us to the conclusion of this week's episode. Thank you all for listening if you made it this far. I feel so happy making this episode. I have been crazy in med school these past 3 weeks, basically, with orientation and then 2 weeks of real classes. It's been crazy. Anytime I have time, I'm going to use it to go to the gym, to go for a walk, or to eat. And this hasn't been a priority for me, and it's been put on the back burner, and I want to just kind of be more lenient, like whenever we can get an episode out, we're going to get it out. And this Saturday night was the time to do it. So yeah, everyone have a great week, and I will see you next time. No, I will talk to you next time. Okay, bye.